If everyone could take their seats, please. I'd like to call to order tonight's regular meeting of the CUSD 201 Board of Education, October 10th, 2017. And roll call, please.
Ms. Ambrose, Mr. Armstrong, Mrs. Charlton,
Here.
Mr. Johnson,
Here.
Mr. Price,
Here.
Mr. Strohmeyer,
Here.
Ms. Wilson.
Here. If we could stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we'll start with the approval of minutes. The chair will entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the September 26, 2017 regular meeting of the Board of Education as presented.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstain? Okay. Motion carried. The chair will enter a motion to approve the minutes of the closed session of the September 26, 2017 regular meeting of the Board of Education as presented.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Abstain.
Okay. Motion carried. Are there any public comments? Okay, consent agenda. Any comments on that? The chair will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented. Number 1, personnel recommendations, and 2, approval of disposal of equipment.
So moved.
Okay, go ahead.
Sorry.
Second.
The second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Ms. Ambrose, Mr. Armstrong, you don't have to call, I don't do this. Mr. Johnson,
Yes.
okay, Mr. Price?
Yes.
Mr. Strohmeyer?
Yes.
Ms. Wilson?
Yes.
And Mrs. Charlton.
Yes. Okay, discussion item. We have a presentation on the Westmont High School Athletic Conference.
Brady?
Ready?
Actually, it's a real presentation, but
Information.
information, correct. And I believe Kevin has put agenda, or an item into your folders. I'm not sure if everybody's aware, but last week, 8 of the schools in the Interstate 8 conference submitted letters to leave the conference. So that kind of leaves us in a position, so to speak, because we were not one of the 8 schools to submit a letter to leave the conference. So the conference is essentially disbanding. So we sort of had a heads up on this, so we've kind of been a little bit proactive in searching for some options, and actually we've been approached by several people. We're kind of popular. It's kind of fun. So last week I met with one of the conferences, and then I have till the end of at the next couple weeks, I'm meeting with a couple other conferences to discuss our options. And we're kind of not wanting to give all of our options out in public forum here because we don't want to hurt anybody's feelings about where we're going or what we're thinking right now. I also have a meeting scheduled tomorrow morning with all of our coaches, and Jack Balderman is going to be there at that meeting too, so we can kind of pool our resources. But right now we're kind of thinking of a couple different options. Football's typically our driver, and we may or may not land in the same conference with football with the other sports. It's one of our options right now. So I guess
And that's legal.
it is very
Right,
legal.
okay.
Yes. And so what we're trying to do is we're
Or
trying
allowed.
to, yes. We are trying to find a place that makes sense for all of our sports, and that might not be the same place. So,
I have 2 questions.
Yes.
One, I've been approached by some parents. Can you just confirm with us that there will be no changes for this year, and that
The rest of this year, there are
Rest
no
of
changes,
This
correct?
school year, this school year,
Correct.
okay. So anything that was planned already is.
Is
you know,
still
works
in effect,
in
yes.
I-8. And then I know that Jack Balderman is putting together a letter to send home to the
Correct.
parents tomorrow, so that, because I've been approached by people,
Right.
they've heard it, they think that we're out, and then there's not going to be conferences, so
No.
thank you very much for that.
Yes.
And then in terms of, Randy, you and I talked about this before the board meeting, in terms of a timeline, when actually the I-8 would dissolve, can you,
The bylaws state that they have to give us a year's notice. So in theory, everything goes for next year as well.
So these, okay,
there's a possibility, although unlikely, but there's a possibility the I-8 could stay intact for the fall of 2018, so the 2018-19 school year. But all the schools that are impacted by this are actively trying to find a place to land for the fall of 2018. So if everything aligns for us, we would be in a new conference for the fall of 2018, but there is the possibility we could be a member of the I-8 for one more year.
but can these other schools, can they leave? Or do they have to give a year's notice?
They had to give a year's notice.
So could 8 teams leave for the next year?
Technically, no.
Technically.
Technically,
Okay.
no.
But it's kind of like when anything's dissolving, if you can move forward, that's the best scenario, to keep everybody for everybody to say, hey, the bylaws say you have to remain in the conference for one more year. You know, it would be I'd say a dysfunctional relationship for that year. So that's why we're actively trying to find a landing spot for next fall.
So you're saying from what's listed on this page, 8 of these decided to pull out?
Correct. From the Interstate 8,
Okay, and then.
which currently has, there's 12 schools. Seneca had already given notice to pull out, and they were out next year regardless.
Okay.
So then there was 11.
Are the others, that groups that are listed there, other conferences that are listed there, are those options, or would there be?
They are all viable. They are very,
Beyond that?
those are our best options.
Okay,
I've already met with the one on the left,
okay,
and they really seemed pleased. What would happen on the ones on the right is most sports would probably go the top one, and football the bottom one.
okay.
Great. I look forward to hearing how this all plays out.
Yeah, me too.
And so do you have to petition then to join another conference, and they have to accept?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes, and we sort of, yeah, we're starting like the dance, so to speak. I've
Okay.
already met with the one group. I'm meeting with the other 2 groups in the next couple of weeks. And then we'll come back and, like I said, I'm meeting with the coaches to see where we're at after the first meeting and going from there.
All right, very good.
And, yeah, then I'm sure we'll be back because I believe ultimately it's a board action to go into a new conference, correct? I think.
I think
Since the
that's-
boards were the ones who wrote the letters saying that they were leaving, so.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, superintendent's report?
Okay, including my report, recently the admin team, we met with Mike Ramsey, who's the Public Works Department, Director of Public Works for the Village of Westmont, and he sat down with us about 2 opportunities to partner. One is actually an extension of a partnership that was created last year. We have partnered with the village. They do a water tower project, and last year Marker School District and Westmont Junior High, our 2 junior highs were part of it, competed. Our junior high did very well. And the whole idea is there are constraints. The size of the water tower has to hold water, has to be able to be emptied. There are points available for using recyclable materials. You can purchase materials, but that actually hurts your score. And then if it doesn't successfully hold water, obviously you lose points. If it takes too long to drain, so there's different parameters. And it was very successful last year, and they're looking to expand that and add additional junior highs this year. And then another partnership, which would be new, is an internship possibility and certification for a water treatment plant operator. And what municipalities are finding is that there are fewer and fewer people applying for these positions. So they are looking to partner with schools, create internships with the hope that they get some students who are hooked and would really like to be a part of it, and then go through the internship program. And then obviously then they know these young people and they would have opportunities for future employment. And the way it works is that there's 30 hours of coursework. Typically, if students know a basic algebra and some geometry, that's about the level of math for the students. And Mike Ramsey is actually one of the people who can teach these courses if his schedule allows. And so it's 30 hours of coursework and then a summer internship. The Village of Westmont actually will hire 3 interns every summer. And then, but because other municipalities are also looking for interns, there would be possibilities if we had several students who want to take advantage of it, possibility of placing them in local villages. And then after successfully completing the coursework, the internship, there's a certification exam that students take. And once you are certified, the starting salary for these positions is approximately $40,000 on the low end, between $40,000 and $50,000 for the starting salary. So right now, Jack is working with the high school to see what the student interest is, and we're hoping that we can get several students excited about it. And with an ideal timeline, next semester we'd like to start with the first group of student interns. It'd be open to juniors and seniors. And then if we can't generate that student interest, hopefully then by the next fall, but we really would like to see this partnership start. So we're very excited about it.
It sounds like a good opportunity. So the coursework would take place during school?
Right now, we're anticipating that would be either after school,
Okay.
either right after school or in the evening. And again, we'll work with our students and see what works best for them. It'd be difficult at this point to embed it into the school day,
Okay.
but that would be the plan.
That's great.
And that's all I have for my report.
All right, are there any board reports? I just have to say congratulations to our football team for bringing home the Old Plank Trophy. We beat Lyle, and it's always nice to get that trophy back here at Westmont. So that was nice to see. So congrats to everyone involved in that. And and the play's coming up. It will be right after our next board meeting, so I'll mention that in a minute. So, anybody else have anything? Are there any public comments? All right, so future meetings and events, preschool screening is October 12th, and that is by appointment only, and you call the district office for that. Family night out, dinner and a movie, Kelly's Hollywood, sponsored by Westmont Police Department and the Westmont Junior High School, October 17th at 6 o'clock at Ty Warner Park. Volley for the Cure, Westmont High School, October 17th at 6 o'clock. Great opportunity to donate there. Jazz Cafe and Student Art Exhibit, Westmont High School, October 19th, 6:30. Soul Food Family Night, Westmont High School, October 20th at 6 o'clock. And then this is the high school play. It's Father of the Bride, and it will be over the weekend, October 27th, Friday night at 7 o'clock, October 28th, Saturday night at 7, and then October 29th at 2 o'clock. And then the next school board meeting will be October 24th, 2017 at 7 o'clock here at Westmont Village Hall. Okay, the chair will entertain a motion to enter closed session for the purpose of discussing personnel issues, student discipline, and probable litigation.
So moved?
Second.
And roll call, please.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
Yes.
Mr. Strohmeyer?
Yes.
Ms. Wilson?
Yes.
Mrs. Charlton?
Yes. And there will not be a vote after closed.